Well, thank you so much for staying with us here on Prime Morning. And you know what to do when it comes to being a part of the Joy Impact Makers Award, the Your News Impact Makers Awards. Remember to just get on the site and make sure to get the details in. If you're very convinced that whoever it is you want to nominate, falls within what we're looking for, it's very important that as we go along, we use what we have within our means to make massive impact in society. Sometimes the resources do not necessarily need to come from all of us. They need to come from the kind of network and the relationships that we have created. So, I always like to check stuff on my phone, right? Yeah, so I do this all the time, and it's for a specific reason. Yeah, it's just checking some stuff regarding, an election that's coming up somewhere, and, the former Ghana FA president and former CAF vice president, making a very, very big, or taking a very bold decision to get in there and make some impact in there as well. Well, those are all conversations we're going to be having as we go along, because we are seeing one of our own from the sports space get into active partisan politics. Let's see how all of it goes. This is not the first time, but we'll see how things go with him. So Nana Serwaa Wiafe is a name that is synonymous with achievement. And I'm saying this because she has in her closet a set of very, very important medals within the marathon space. I'm talking about the key major marathons around the world, 6 of them. And once you're able to run all of these and complete them, you get this medal. And the important thing about my job that I do, and which I've done over the last 20 years, is that I get to share all of these when I haven't done the work proper. I get to have the conversations with them. So Nana Serwaa Wiafe is a 6-star Abbott marathon runner, and she has participated and completed the 6 major marathons in the marathon space internationally. And she has an amazing story to tell. I'm sure you're all waiting and wondering, what's the inspiration behind this story to want to take part in all of these marathons and complete them as well, and provide that much inspiration for all those who want to make major achievements in sport. Nana, congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
I like your hair.
Thank you.
How many years have you kept the locks?
You like the fire?
Yeah, I love the fire in there.
I've had my locks for almost 2 years now.
Oh, great.
But this color is very new.
Yeah, okay. What color did you switch from?
From black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Look, good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that means Tokyo, Berlin, New York, Boston, and one final one?
London.
Yes. There we go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Look, running the minimum of 41 point something km, whether it's once or whether it's twice, is a major thing to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know where you got the fire from. I don't know where you got the inspiration from.
Mm-hmm. Well, people always ask me that, and I always joke and say that I started running after my divorce.
Okay.
Almost 10 years ago now. Over 10 years ago now. This year is my 10th year of running. I started running pretty much as more of a social runner, getting fit, staying fit, clearing my head, and then it morphed into something else. Yeah. Wow. And here we are. 19 full marathons later, and 43 half marathons later, and there's still more to come. 19
full races?
19 full marathons.
Wow.
And then 43 half marathons.
Wow, wow. Mm-hmm. How, I'm sure that, those who are in the professional space who would want to make, want to start doing very serious work with wanting to qualify for the Olympics or, go ahead and make major achievements and clock serious times in there, would want to get into your mind and get into how you psych yourself up and tune yourself up for very big tasks such as these.
It's all about your training, perseverance, dedication. I'm not a professional athlete by any chance. I have a full-time job, so my training revolves around my day-to-day job, my Monday through Friday job, my Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job. I train on my own. I have this multiple training sessions that you can have on online that that I tap into, but mostly is the training. Because training for a marathon takes between 18 to 22 weeks of training. And
18 to 22 weeks.
Weeks of training, and it's consistent training of, you don't just get up and go run for the 2.2 kilometers, it's progression, so it's a progression of your own dedication, your own self-motivation that you want to get up every morning and go do it. I mean, on Saturdays are normally my long runs, so I am up in the morning by 5:30 to try and get on the trail by 6:30. And, if it's 10 miles, 15 miles, 20 miles, that is what I'm set to do that day. So it is my own self-motivation and dedication is what has brought me to this far.
I mean, many have celebrated you. I saw a post by the Millennium Marathon celebrating your achievements and all of that. The Millennium Marathon, when it comes to Ghana and the setup here and the sporting calendar here, is big and very major. Now, you're in your early 50s.
I'm in 53.
53? Okay, so do you ever get any, challenges physically and all of that make you want to think, okay, you know what, let me slow down a little bit?
Oh, the pains? Oh, yeah. I mean, so there are two different types of pains, right? Okay. There are pain where, I'm doing a tempo run and my heart is on fire. Okay. And then there's a pain where I've broken my leg and I need to go see a doctor. So those are there. But yeah, I mean, I'm in my age, so definitely you get...
Sustained a major injury during the period?
Yeah, I mean, so you do, I do a lot of, I do physical therapy. If I need to, if I'm injured and I need to, I do physical therapy. I do a lot of strength training, which helps. What I eat helps, staying hydrated helps with your training. So I try, I haven't really had that many big injuries, but yeah, I do have my aches and pains when I get up in the morning with a little bit of a sore back or a little bit of a knee problem. But yeah, it's all part of the aging system.
And you've not
go back to that.
And you've not had that nudge to, you know what, maybe I should just slow down or maybe I should just even stop. I've done a couple, so.
Oh no. I've met, when I'm especially on race days, you meet people in their 70s. In Tokyo, I recorded these 3 women. One was from London and 2 of them were from the US. And they were between the ages of 76 and 82. And they were all getting their 6 stars, just like I was on Tokyo on that day. So when I see runners like that, I'm motivated to say that I still have a lot left in my legs to keep moving.
Well, let's talk about the most challenging of all these 6, since you started or when you decided to, embark on this journey. Tell me about the most challenging one and what it is or that factor that made it that challenging.
I would say that Tokyo was the hardest for me.
Why?
Just the pressure. Tokyo has a lot of rules, different rules. They do out and back. I normally don't like to see people finishing a race before I finish, but this is where it's a loop, multiple loops, about 9 of them actually. And then there's also the time factor, because Tokyo has different times where they do have buses on the trail that if you don't meet a certain time, you'll be picked up from the trail or you'll be picked up from the course to go home. So they with all that, I knew that I can run a full marathon under 6 hours. I knew that. I know that I can run a 5K around 30 minutes. I know that. I know that I can run a 10-mile within 2 hours or less. So, but it's just the mind of being out there and knowing that anything can happen on the course. I can have the best training, the best trainer, but the day of the race, it's a totally different ball game. Anything can happen, So that alone and that anxiety made it the most challenging course for me. Yeah.
And of course, everybody will be interested in which one was smoothest for you in terms of navigating, the route.
I wouldn't say the smoothest, but I would say that my proudest is Boston, because Boston is the oldest marathon. It's 127. It's going 128 years now, and just there was a time where women cannot even run Boston Marathon. So 1969, Catherine broke the barrier for us. So to see that I was the first Ghanaian to run Boston Marathon, I was a black woman to run it. It made me, I was very proud of it. And it was so funny, the day before the race, they always have mass. So I went to mass that night, that afternoon, and at mass, the choir sang a song in our native language, in Tree language.
Oh, I see.
And I cried that day. I was just blown away, and I just knew that I was meant to be there that day, and the next day to carry my flag after the end of the race.
Wow,
yes.
Interesting stuff there.
Yeah.
So, well, if you're just joining us, we're having this conversation with Nana Serwaa Wiafe, who is a 6-star Abath marathon runner, and that simply means that she's done and completed all the major marathons, in the world, internationally, and which are recognized there at the top. So, just in case you're thinking of making this proper profession and getting into the real competitive space, you have a big inspirational story right here. Mm-hmm. So, in recent times in Ghana, there's been this, especially within the middle class space, you get a lot of people now wanting to play sport and do it professionally. Parents are now pushing their kids to do more in terms of, playing sports and taking it more seriously. Mm-hmm. What would you say to parents who are, who see these kinds of talents in their children and want them to get there and try to achieve something with it and go all the way to the highest level?
I would say that, first and foremost, just make sure that you have your education first. Because in sports, anything can happen, so just having that just having that something in the backdrop, say that, hey, I finished my college degree, at least I have my first degree in anything that you want to do, and then just having that sports, because, growing up, I had a full scholarship to play soccer for a university. My father didn't let me take it because he was like, no, I didn't bring you to the U.S. to come and play soccer. I brought you here to get an education, though it was going to help me to pay for school, but I ended up just getting my degree, getting my first degree and then going on to get my second degree. Like I said, I'm not a professional athlete, but to be an athlete, just make sure, all I would say to the parents is just make sure that your children have the education that they need first, because injuries happen. The fact that you are good does not mean that you can stand up to the world stage, because there's somebody else greater than you when you go up and meet them. So just make sure that you have education first and foremost, and then the athletics is just secondary. Yeah. Well,
you mentioned football and how you had to, put it, slide it under the carpet because, you didn't have a supportive father, for that endeavor. How do you feel now when you see, for instance, our black princesses who've qualified for the next World Cup, the Black Queens being the first football, first, senior national team to qualify for the World Cup, the FIFA Women's World Cup and all of that. I'm sure sometimes you sit back and say, oh, I could have been in there.
No, not that, but I like that they have qualified, and I like that you are talking about it. So I want to see what the nation is going to do to support them, because this is not the first time they've qualified, right?
Yeah.
They've won several. So, but do they get the recognition they need, or do they get what they deserve as the men, their counterparts, do? So let's just see what, let's just follow this space and see what happens to them, because these are women playing at the highest level, qualifying for the highest level. Did the Black Stars make the AFCON?
So what it is that the last AFCON for the Black Stars was a poor performance.
Okay.
Yes,
so,
definitely. Yeah.
So now we have the women stepping up to represent our nation at the highest level, right? So let's see what the nation is going to do to rally behind them and give them the support that they need. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the general space in sport and what you feel that we should invest in sport. Rosalind earlier was talking about the African Games and how everybody came together and how excited Ghanaians were. Ghana finished 6th, on the medal table. Now, it got us to build some infrastructure. You live in the United States where infrastructure is not a problem. But if you had to give some advice to government, for instance, because they are the sole provider of infrastructure, what would you say, I mean, from the kind of experience that you have from, I mean, the developed space where that is not a problem at all and sport has been grown into a major industry?
Well, so in a sense, stadiums are not owned by the government. Stadiums are owned by organizations, you know. So you go to Bank of America, or
the Honda Center,
ING, this. So it's not owned by the government. So what stops corporations in here from building stadiums, you know, and say that, okay, this is owned by, you know, Black Stars play here, but it is owned by, you know, ABC company, you know, so it's not everything that has to be on the government. I like that, you know, I mean, at least with podium, you know, 6 is good, you know, we can do better, you know, and the better that we can do is the training and giving our athletes the proper attire, the proper training that they need to be able to perform at the highest level. Yeah, so I don't want to get into, you know, the political stuff, but it is, I mean, I just want to see people do better, you know, and they can do better by giving them the proper things that they need to be able to perform.
Great stuff. I like that bit about politics is everywhere. So
you're right.
Well, these images we see on the screen were your arrival. I mean, recent arrival at home.
Yes.
Must have been good. Felt real good.
I was very surprised. My brother Chris and my mother got together and did that. I was very shocked. I had been flying for 27 hours from Tokyo to here. So I went from Tokyo to Seoul to Ethiopia to here. So I've been on a flight for 27 hours. I was extremely tired. Yeah. Hope I don't look as bad.
Let's talk about the routines. You know, loads and loads of people get close to people who are active in sport and they wonder, you know, what the routines are. You've spoken about diets and all of that and what you do on a daily basis. So during a period when you're on holiday like this, do you get up to very intensive training, for instance?
No, I mean, right now I'm in recovery from Tokyo.
Very well.
I'll start training for my next race in the next few weeks coming up. Maybe I'm looking at end of May is when I'll start training for Berlin in September. So no, I am here. I'm eating everything to the sun, but I am still running. I mean, I try to run at least a 5K every other day, and then I do walks in between. I do strength training in between as well. But normally when I'm in Ghana, it's very difficult to run in Ghana because there's no place. I don't have a trail to go to. The sidewalks are really not the best, you know, to walk, you know, to run on the streets. Here we don't really pay attention to pedestrians that much. You know, it's like the streets belongs to the drivers and the motorcyclists.
And the hawkers.
But there's no place for a runner to actually run free, you know. So it is, but I still try to do a few things when I'm here. Yes, for sure.
Talk to that parent out there who has a child who is looking forward to, you know, getting into, you know, marathons and doing long distance running and doing it professionally.
Yeah.
Talk to that parent for me.
I would say the first and foremost, get the proper shoes, get the right shoes. I remember my first race, my very first race that I did was a 10-miler. I bought brand new outfit, brand new shoes, you know, and it was the worst advice. So I would say that get the proper shoes because it prevents you from injury, you know. But like I mentioned earlier, education. Don't focus too much on the sports. Make sure that you have the degree that you need, that you're going to fall back on, because eventually you will retire from whatever sport that you were in. You're eventually going to retire from it, right? Then what? What are you going to live on, you know, if you don't have something? Because even in sport,
and there are allied professions within sport as well.
You know, and even if you are a professional, you need to be able to know your own account. You need to be able to know what money you're getting in, what money is coming out. So if you don't have that, it's going to be difficult. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Nana, thank you so much. It's been wonderful sharing your company. This is such an inspiring story.
Thank you so much.
And, I get to wear the medals, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're wishing you well on the next endeavor, the next race. Wishing you well as you get back into intensive training. And we'll be tracking you and hoping to share another big story with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Great.
it. All right.
So that was Nana Serwaa Wiafe. She is a 6-star Abbott marathoner, and she has done all the key races. So here we go. Boston, London, Berlin, Chicago, New York, and Tokyo. This is survival. This is inspiration. This is perseverance. And this is putting that target there and achieving it. Well, coming up here on Prime Morning is the relationship segment. Okay, let me just keep it a bit hush-hush a bit for now. You just stay right there. I always tell you to just stay right there behind the screen. There's a lot coming up, and one other conversation that sure is going to get you talking. This is Prime Morning. I'll be back tomorrow with another big conversation. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, and I have love for sport.